What's going on YouTube? It is Mr. Ferguson here once again. Thank you guys for coming back for another video here in Central North Carolina. I do apologize, got a little bit of a head cold going on. We've talked about how we've had that warm up here in Central North Carolina, and I believe the fluctuating temperatures is just giving me a little allergy head cold thing going on. So if my voice sounds weird, that is why. I do apologize. But thank you for tuning in today. I make this video every year, and I want to do it again this year. I want to do it every year because I've already got some of these questions, and we're going to talk about pre-emergent and talk about spring seeding. I want to talk on that subject and give you my opinion, give you my thoughts, and exactly what I did back in 2019 when I was faced with this same situation. So last time, guys, you know we've been talking about pre-emergent. We applied our pre-emergent last time, and we had some interesting comments on that video. But let me just say, no matter what rate you use, some people may just want to do their prodiamine app in one fell swoop application for 6 months. And if you want to use those rates, that's great. What I recommend is what I recommended is based off the lawn care nut, Alan Hain. It is what he put out like 4 years ago. I found that blog post, and those rates are what I've used, and it's worked for me, so I've not strayed from it. We do 0.183 per 1,000 square feet, and that's for 2.5 month coverage. We come back and do another application. You can increase the time there, or you can do the same amount, and we still have some prodiamine left over for the fall if you want to use it again. So use what rates you want to use. I just would encourage you to use pre-emergent, use prodiamine, use dithiopyr. I would highly encourage it, and that's what we're going to kind of talk about today. Also, be sure to water it in when you use it. That was something else we want to talk about. You want it to get into the soil, and it applies that vapor barrier on the soil to where when these weeds and crabgrass and stuff hit it, it disintegrates, it stops it before it ever germinates. So we make this video every year, and what I'm referring to is talking about we're coming so very close to spring. We're here. I'm out in a t-shirt now. I've got shorts on. We've got these fluctuating temperatures, but they seem to be trending to the warmer side than the cooler side. And with that, a lot of people will start coming out right about now and saying, I'm going to work on my yard. It's time to go get seed. I'm going to go get that aerator. I'm going to start seeding. And let me tell you to please don't waste your money. And I want to warn you, and this isn't an open, like, please don't go seed. It's the worst thing you can do. I want to give you some reasons why you may not want to seed in spring, and you may want to go with pre-emergent. Now, let me tell you my story. When I first got into lawn care, I bought a book. I bought this lawn care manual. It helped guide me into what to do to have a nice lawn, and I have a nice lawn today based off that manual from Alan Hain, the lawn care nut. So what it told me was deal with what you have and just jump into the program, which happened to be when I walked outside in spring, and I said, I'm going to try to have a nice yard. That's what I said as a new homeowner or newer homeowner that was no longer in the military. I was like, I'm going to try to do this thing. Well, I did that in right around March. And that's when a lot of other people are going to walk outside and say, I want to have a nice lawn. Now's the time to do that, right? Because it's spring and I can go out and I can just, now's the time to do it, right? No, the time is in the fall for a cool season fescue, Kentucky bluegrass, ryegrass. If you're doing a cool season lawn like what I have, the time is fall. That's when we want to do our aeration. That's when we want to do our seeding, and it gives us all during fall, all during winter to develop those roots in the ground where it looks like it's barely growing or not growing at all. Those roots are forming and they're driving deep for moisture, and so by the time spring comes and everything jumps to life, you've got 6 months of roots already developed because you planted in the fall. For all of you that are coming out in the spring and you're watching this video and you're like, man, I think I'm going to go ahead and seed my yard because it's spring and that's when you do it, I would warn you, your roots are not going to have as much time as they would have in the fall to develop. And the reason why that is a crucial thing is because summer likes to scorch the grass. And if the grass is not deeply rooted, there's spiritual meaning behind this as well with God's word, but we're not going to go there. But when our roots are not deep enough, the grass will wither and die out. So if you're going to plant in the spring, you could spend all this money. Now, let's go back for a second to the aerating part. If you're going to aerate in spring, you're asking for a lot of weeds because, number one, you'll be skipping pre-emergent because there's no point in laying down a pre-emergent then getting an aerator and tearing up all your pre-emergent. That makes no sense. That'd be a total waste of time and money. And then if you are aerating in spring, you're allowing weeds to come up because you're opening up the earth. I've got a lot of poa-triv that popped up. I believe that's because I aerated in fall, and poa-triv is like crabgrass comes in the summer and the spring. Poa-triv comes in the cool time, in the fall, in the winter with poa annua. So I believe I have some of this poa-triv because I did another aeration 3 years in a row when I really didn't need to aerate this year. I did it anyways, and I exposed air to seed that is laying dormant in my dirt. And if you're doing this in the spring, you could be just opening yourself up for weed city, basically, is how I see it and how I've come to understand it. I highly recommend, whether you planted in fall or did not plant in fall and you've got a cool season lawn, you use pre-emergent. Suck it up, do pre-emergent now, as we talked about the last several videos. Lay down that barrier pre-emergent and just deal with what you have. It may not be the ideal lawn, but you're going to watch these videos, you're going to watch other YouTubers, you're going to get a lawn care plan, and you're going to just basically simulate, okay, if I had planted in fall, what would I be doing right now? Do I need to do some biostimulants? Would I be doing, you know, how much do I need to be watering? You're going to be learning this season, this spring and summer, and come fall, it's ready to rock and roll. Get your seed, and that's when you're going to throw down, because you want to give that grass plenty of time to develop and grow roots. If you've got the money and you want to try it and you have a lot of shade in your yard, this may not apply to you. Remember last year we planted down here by this tree, and we had lots of shade. And see, I have no leaves in the tree now. That's going to change when spring comes. But down here we actually planted some seed, and it was in the shade, and it grew and it survived. So if you do have some shade where the sun may not scorch, then you may be able to get away with planting some without aeration. I wouldn't do aeration, but throwing some down, if you have some gaps from the fall and you throw some seed down, like I have some gaps from Poa-triv, I'm going to have to cultivate. Again, we put down prodiamine, so we've got a vapor barrier there that's going to stop anything from growing. But if I use my little cultivator tool and break up any dirt where I want to plant, I can throw seed down and it will grow, but that area will also be susceptible for crabgrass and other weeds. So you have to keep that in the back of your mind. If you say, wait a minute, how do I have crabgrass? Oh yeah, I broke my prodiamine barrier to grow grass here. I forgot about that. So you got to keep that in mind. But that's the point of the video, is I don't want you to waste your money and go out here and do all this fantastic spring seeding, and then the sun comes, and because we know in the past 2 Mays, the month of May here in North Carolina, it has been brutal. We've had very little water and very high heat, up near 90 degrees, and it's just been brutal. And if you planted in March and you give it March, April, and then come May, 3 months, it's going to scorch all of your spring grass if you have any type of May like we've had the past 2 Mays here in North Carolina. And that's why I say save your money, save it until the fall when it's the proper time, and go for it then. So that is the video today. I've got my youngest daughter, Sarah Jane. It's her birthday today, February 11th, when I'm recording this. So happy birthday to Sarah Jane. We've got a party. I've got my little blower over here. I'm going to kind of make the place look as good as I can for a birthday party. But I wanted to make sure I filmed this and just said, if you're thinking about that, if you're getting that spring feeling that's in the air, save your money. If you don't have a lot of money, if you want to go for it and say, well, Mr. Ferguson's an idiot, I'm going to do it anyways. Well, it's your yard, go for it, but do a test. I've seen that when my old neighbors lived here. They did a planting in the early part of March, and it died out in the summer. It was completely gone. They wanted to make it so their son could kick soccer back here with the soccer goal, and all that grass is no longer there. It's gone. There might be a little bit of it still hanging on, but most of it was scorched and died out. So be wise. Now, if you do plant, you want to keep heavy water. You want to drive it with RGS. You want to, you're going to have to pay attention to it to help it survive and give it as much tender love and care as you can. But I would recommend saving your money. We want to plant cool season grass in the fall, and now if you planted in fall and now we're coming in spring, you should be right around, like some of you are up north and you're not putting down your pre-emergent yet, but most of us should be looking at pre-emergent time. And then we're going to be able to look at our first fall fertilizer here soon. I'm not ready. I've seen some people in the community driving back from the basketball game today have already begun to mow their grass. I don't want to wake it up yet. We've still got these brown and white tipped grass from where it was frosted, but our temperatures are going to be the upper 30s. And so, yeah, so that's what we're dealing with. I'm not ready quite to mow it yet or to get out here with the mower, but we're getting very close, and then we'll be looking at applying a fertilizer in not too long from now, and I'll give you a clue on what my first fertilizer will be here soon. So thank you guys for checking out this quick video here on Monday. I hope you have a fantastic week. We'll do a vlog on the Mr. Ferguson vlog channel for spiritual awareness, spiritual feeding. Go check it out on the Mr. Ferguson vlog channel. And we'll be back here hopefully, if not Wednesday, or with another lawn care video, we'll be back here Friday. Pray for me, pray that this little head cold goes away. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening today, and I hope you have a fantastic Monday. God bless.